And I'm shooting.
Hi, this is Lindo from Herp Exotics. I'm right here with Chaz to interview you. How long has the store been open?
The store has been open, as far as I know, for about 25 years.
Wow. How long have you been working here?
I've been working here for about 9 years.
How long have you been working with reptiles?
I've been working with reptiles for probably about 30 years.
Wow.
Yeah, ever since I was 13.
What's the most exotic animal you guys have had in stock?
The most exotic? Like, you mean the most different?
Yeah, that you guys have ever had.
Probably the one that's right behind you, which is the black-headed python down at the bottom. They were extremely rare snake. Years ago, the price on one of these snakes would have probably ran upwards of like $11,000 for a baby. So they have one in the store, and it's still going for a pretty good price. It's $2,500. So it's not an easy animal. Australia doesn't export any of their animals out of their country.
How you doing?
So that animal there is
captive born and bred.
Captive born and bred in the United States, and it's still, like I said, considered pretty rare considering its price tag for as long as they've been into the country. So
are they like an endangered species?
No, they're not endangered, but what it is that they don't give a large clutch of eggs, but the babies come out pretty good size. But also, Australia does not allow any exportation out of their country into other countries of their animals. So whenever that's the case, and you don't have a exportation, exporting coming into a country, and you only rely on captive bred stuff, usually the prices on those animals are going to be pretty high.
Like how most snakes will lay like 40 eggs, and these guys only lay 10?
Yeah, they lay about like 12 to 15 eggs, and that's it.
Okay. What is the hardest animal to take care of at the store?
Hardest animal, I would say, are probably the chameleons. Yeah, the chameleons are very delicate. You got to really be on top of their care every day, and there's little things that can go wrong with those guys.
Like the smallest thing would cause something really bad to happen?
Well, like for example with the panther chameleons, they can go through what's called vitamin A deficiency. Okay, and it affects their eyes. So yeah, we have to try to take a little bit of vitamin A and put it on the cricket, give it to them like every couple weeks, just so they don't have that deficiency.
I didn't know that. What is the most common thought lizards and snake?
The most common thought lizards probably here are leopard geckos and bearded dragons. They're very docile, both of them. Great personalities. A lot of people love the personality of both animals. And so, yeah, bearded dragons are very laid back and nice lizards. So it's something that a lot of people like to buy. And the leopard geckos, they like the fact that they stay relatively small, about 8 to 9 inches long, and that they'll live 20 to 25 years.
What's the most commonly bought snake?
Probably the most commonly bought snake are corn snakes and ball pythons. The corn snakes, we have a lot of younger people that come in, it's their first snake, and we try to set them up with that because of how docile they are. They start out really really small, you know what I mean, but they grow slowly and they don't get really big, about 4 or 5 foot long. Yeah, they are, and there's a lot of colors to choose from too. Huh? About that large? Yeah. Now ball pythons are probably the next one. And that's because everybody likes the fact that they have a python. They like, to think, okay, I've got a python, but they don't want something that's so large. So a ball python only averages about 4 to 5 feet also, and is a very shy and docile snake. And now with all the color variations and pattern variations of ball pythons, it definitely makes them one of the most popular snakes out there.
So like the industry is kind of like, the strongest part of the industry is kind of like ball pythons,
oh,
the panda pies and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I mean definitely with ball pythons. I mean that runs a good part of the industry right now. I mean everybody likes to breed them. The great thing about ball pythons is there's so many codominant genes compared to recessive genes, things that you would have to breed back to, like you do with lubrid snakes. Most of their traits that you see are usually recessive, where there's a lot of codominant traits where if you put two things together with a ball python that carries those traits, automatically from the first breeding you're going to get something new. Something as a combination of both, like taking a pastel ball python to a spider ball python to make a bumblebee ball python, because you'll get one out of every four, according to the way it should work out, should come out a bumblebee, and then you still get another spider, you still get another pastel, and then you could get a normal out of that.
Normal with a head for spider and a head for...
Well, no, only recessive genes can an animal be heterozygous for. Okay, like albinism for one, right? Like if the ball python was albino, that's a simple recessive gene. So the simple recessive gene means that if you bred that just to a normal, that didn't carry that gene, all the babies would come out normal, but they'd all be heterozygous for that recessive trait. Recessive traits don't come out automatically. Now the codominant traits, like in what we were talking about with the spider ball and the pastel, when you put those together, because they're codominant, right, they come out automatically in that breeding. And you still produce the combination of both, but you also produce what you had to start off with, another pastel and another spider.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
What animals would you recommend for beginners?
Probably the ones we just went over, leopard geckos. There's another one I really like, which are crested geckos. I think crested geckos are great. They come from a group of islands that are northeast of Australia called New Caledonia. Their genus name is called Rhachydaculus. So there's a lot of nice geckos in that genus. There's the cresteds, there's the gargoyles, and there's the giant geckos. Now the giant geckos are kind of pricey and pretty expensive for most people, but the cresteds are really nice because they eat basically like a fruit-based food that you can make for them, and they can eat baby food also. You just have to add calcium to it. And then crickets maybe just once a week. So a lot of people like the fact that they can just mix up some food for them into a bowl, and these guys come down and kind of use their tongue and lap at it and eat it that way. And they like the fact that they have grills on the end of their toes that they can stick to their glass or to limbs or leaves. So people like that, and they come in a lot of cool colors too.
What would you say is the most dangerous or aggressive animal?
Dangerous, probably the Asian water monitor right now. I mean, I wouldn't call him aggressive, but he's very nervous. And the bad thing is I went to the hospital because of it. He's flighty, he's a little scared, and when I tried to restrain him one time for someone who wanted to see him, he actually turned around and bit me into my knuckle right here in my finger. And when he did, it wasn't the bite that was so, the bite was pretty bad because they have kind of somewhat of an anticoagulant quality to their saliva. It actually kept me from clotting so easy, and I was bleeding a lot. But once I got the bleeding, that would have been, okay, I got bit, and now the bleeding stopped and I'm fine. But what happened is they can sometimes, and you've heard this of Komodo dragons, of carrying a heavy bacterial load in their mouth. Well, this one did, and my finger swelled up about 2 times its size, bigger than it was, and I couldn't bend my finger, and it started traveling into my hand and the rest of my bloodstream, and got up into my neck. So I ended up having to go to the hospital that night and get a big antibiotic shot and a big steroid shot for inflammation. So that was not a good fight.
I was thinking about getting one of those.
They get big. You're looking at Asian water being the second biggest overall lizard in the world next to Komodo dragons. They can get, Asian water can get 6 foot plus, about 6 foot plus, and can also probably weigh over 50 pounds. Yeah, tegus are better.
What's the most dangerous animal you've had to work with?
Personally?
Yeah.
I've worked with a lot of venomous snakes over the years. I've worked with venomous snakes for probably about 18 years. So I've worked with crocodilians and alligators when I worked at the National Zoo in D.C.
Have you been bit by anything venomous?
Yeah, I've had 7 venomous bites. over 18 years. So, and my worst, everybody kind of knows about who knows me. So, this is the bite here that you can see. If you can see the two fang marks, I don't know if you can see the close-up of those two marks there on my arm. You can see them, and then if you look around, you can see also the slight tissue damage here, from the necrotic action of that venom. Okay, and that put me in the hospital for about 2 weeks, and I was actually in ICU on a respirator for like 3 days.
What kind of snake was it?
It was a gaboon viper from Africa.
Have you ever had anything venomous like in the store, like in stock or on shelf?
Other than the eastern, or not the eastern, but the western hognoses. Okay, the western hognoses are a rear fang colubrid. So they do have a mild venom, but it's basically used to neutralize frogs or lizards. It's not used for anything else, because that's basically what their diet is in the wild. Even though we feed them mice here, the mice have to be pre-killed mice that we feed them, because they have no other way of subduing something like a mouse that could fight back and hurt them.
They don't constrict, they just bite?
They just usually bite onto a frog or a lizard, and they'll do this, and they'll walk back and forth on it like they're swallowing it, but those fangs in the back are actually getting in there too and releasing venom in to immobilize the prey.
I didn't know that about hogs.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for the interview.
Oh, no problem.
That was pretty cool, I didn't know.